When you're running a DMA prime brokerage, one of the most important things to understand is how your clients are experiencing the service. It's important because they may well be connected to other brokers and they'll be diverting their flow to where they perceive has the best performance. So in this view, we're looking at a high-level client summary dashboard and the overall health and activity of our DMA plant. We're currently looking at a time period of the European markets, and this morning the markets have only been open a short period, so we can see activity here. Now, in the two pie charts, we're seeing a breakdown of our client flow across our 5 trading gateways. And we can see there's a balance across 3 of them, gateways 1, 3 and 5. But in actual fact, gateways 2 and 4 have very little flow on them. So that's maybe something the operations team can take a look at to get the balance a little bit more even across those gateways. And then on the right hand side, we can also see how the trading activity, the actual fills themselves are occurring, are balanced across the gateways too. And in this case, we can see the majority of them are currently on gateway 3, and these guys, Flow Capital, are responsible for the majority. The numbers at the top as well, we're seeing some high level numbers. Quite a few people have logged in so far this morning. The notional volume traded is 7.9 million. We can also see things like rejects as well, and all these numbers are interactive, so I can just click on here and we can see who has experienced rejects this morning. Okay, so these guys in green, Flow Capital, looks like they may have had some issues this morning, so it could be worth putting a call into them. All right, if we scroll down a bit further, we can see there the DMA response time on the left. So this is the performance that the clients are getting, the order acknowledgement response times. And we can also see here the message rates broken down by our top clients as well. Further down, we have a couple of tables here. So what's really nice with Corval is that if you onboard a new client, their flow is automatically detected and their activity will appear in these tables. So the client performance, we're tracking order to ACK response times. But then on the right hand side, we're also looking at the network health of their connections. So if there's any retransmissions, or perhaps the client has an issue and advertises a 0 window, we'll see those here. And then towards the bottom, we're also looking at their client activity in terms of the actual messages. So we're tracking the filled volume for each one, but we can also see how many quotes, replaces, cancels, all the individual messages that they're sending in. Now, suppose I wanted to look at a particular client in more detail. Perhaps I'm their account manager, I'm going to go into a meeting with them, or maybe I'm on the service desk and I'm working through a trouble ticket they've raised. So all I need to do is to click on their name, and I get presented with a few options. Many of these will give us detail about the health of their connections regarding the network and the infrastructure. We can look at the top end activity and this kind of thing. But I'm actually going to take a look at their DMA client performance to get a sense of what their trading activity has been like so far this morning. So as this loads up, we see the specific orders and messages for this client Bergman, but if I wanted to, I can toggle to other clients as well that we're supporting. Now for this time period, since market open this morning, we can see quite a few logons for them. We can see how many new orders they've sent in. Looks like most of those have been cancelled. We've got a relatively low fill rate for them, but we can also see here the actual volume that they've traded so far today. So there's a lot of information in here. We can also see a detailed breakdown of the response time latency they're experiencing, and also a breakdown of the performance of our DMA infrastructure. So we can see here that's actually pretty good and fairly stable. However, they are seeing a few high latencies there from the market. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can see their order types or their message types have been broken down. So in this case, it looks like the majority of their activities is on quotations, and we can see the responses back from those messages they're sending in. The notional volume here is the actual traded volume, and we can see here just before 9 o'clock there was quite a large spike. Now, one thing we could do is if we wanted to maybe take a look at a previous time period as a comparison, what I can do is maybe we'll look at the last hour and let's compare that to the previous hour, and this will give a sense of what's happening now and what's happening earlier this morning. And if I do that, we can see here's that spike that occurred around about 8:30 this morning. But then prior to that, the previous hour, very little trading activity. So again, this is this activity here stands out as where most of their trades occurred today. Towards the bottom here as well, a few more statistics in terms of the health of their connections. So we can see any issues here at the network layer reported via TCP retransmissions or zero window advertisements. At the bottom here, we're also seeing the bandwidth to and from that client. So if that started bursting up to or above the link capacity, we could advise them to upgrade their link. And then finally, just because Cool was also monitoring at the network layer as well as the application layer, here we see a breakdown of their order ACK response times in comparison to the TCP round trip time. So this is giving us a sense of how well the network's performing delivering that service. So I could now put a call into my client, very well informed in terms of their trading activity and performance today, and have a valuable conversation with them.